The sun hung low in the sky, casting a golden glow over the marina. The gentle lapping of waves against the hull of luxurious yachts created a soothing soundtrack, forming the perfect backdrop for leisure and relaxation. On one such yacht, a magnificent 60-foot vessel called Elysium, was Marcus Carter, a successful entrepreneur known for his booming tech company. With a glass of exquisite Cabernet Sauvignon in hand, he leaned against the railing, savoring the sunset while contemplating his prosperous life. Marcus was a man of stature in the business world, having overcome numerous hurdles to get where he was. His yacht, a visual representation of his wealth, showcased not only his financial success but also his love for architecture and design, with luxurious interiors and state-of-the-art technology. As he took a sip, the rich flavors of the wine danced on his palate, filling him with satisfaction. Meanwhile, just a few slips down the dock, Karen, a self-proclaimed member of the Pristine Residence Association, surveyed her territory with disdain. Known throughout the community for her entitled demeanor and stringent opinions on who belonged in this affluent area, she was not the type to tolerate any form of dissent or perceived intrusion. Today, her gaze fell upon the sleek yacht. There was something about it, and its occupant, that riled her. As Marcus relaxed in solitude, the audible hum of laughter and conversation from nearby yachts filled the air. However, it wasn't long before he noticed a figure striding decisively down the dock towards him. It was Karen, her face twisted in a look of disapproval. With a haughty air, she approached, hands on her hips, a queen defending her realm. "Excuse me," she called out, her voice sharp against the tranquility of the setting sun. Marcus looked up, raising an eyebrow at the sight of the imposing figure that stood before him. "I need to ask you to leave. This is a private marina, and this yacht is clearly not yours." Her words were tinged with venom, an unmistakable edge in her tone that suggested her underlying prejudice. Marcus's brow furrowed as he absorbed her attitude. He hadn't asked for confrontation, merely seeking an escape from the world that too often held biases. "Actually, it is my yacht," he replied calmly, setting his wine glass down. "I own it, along with this slip." He gestured casually to the harbor, remembering the paperwork and investments that had allowed him to grow his portfolio over the years. Karen's eyes darkened, not ready to concede defeat. Karen's face turned a shade of crimson as she processed his words. "You must be mistaken," she snapped back, her voice climbing an octave. "No one like you could possibly own a yacht like this. This isn't a place for people like you." Her blatant racism was like a raw wound, but Marcus refused to react in anger. Instead, he contemplated the irrationality of her belief. "I assure you, my financial portfolio suggests otherwise. In fact, I'm quite successful." He remained poised, sipping his wine, the amber hues reflecting the evening light enhancing the sense of calm he wanted to portray. "How do you figure?" Karen retorted, crossing her arms defiantly. "Just because you're on a pretty boat doesn't mean you belong here. Admittance to this community has standards." It was clear to Marcus that the mere sight of him on the yacht challenged her vision of privilege. The atmosphere crackled with tension as more people began to take notice of the unfolding drama. Other yacht owners paused to witness the confrontation, some shocked, others amused. Feeling the weight of their collective gaze, Karen's privilege began to feel precarious. Amidst the gathered crowd, Marcus decided it was time to assert his identity and dispel any misconceptions. He remained calm, even as anger bubbled beneath the surface. "I think it's time you learn a little about who you're speaking to. My company, Carter Technologies, has been a market leader in software development for over a decade, and I'm proud of that." Karen's expression faltered, disbelief mingling with a growing sense of fear. "Carter Technologies? I don't believe you," she stammered, her facade of superiority beginning to crumble. But Marcus remained unrelenting, pulling out his phone and displaying a recent business news article detailing his success. Headlines boasted about his company's growth, notable acquisitions, and charitable donations to causes that uplift underprivileged communities. The crowd around them murmured, whispering amongst themselves, their perception rapidly shifting as they realized the weight of Marcus's presence. "You can Google me if you want," he added with a smirk, his calm confidence increasingly asserting itself. The realization of his significance in the business world was becoming evident, and the truth of his wealth left Karen floundering. The transformation of the onlookers' reactions was swift. Where once there was solidarity with Karen and her misplaced beliefs, a shift in allegiance began to grow. The crowd's attitude turned from amusement at the spectacle to indignation towards Karen's obvious racism. Because of Marcus's dignity in the face of disrespect, the dynamic felt palpably different. Karen's face flushed with embarrassment and miscalculation. She attempted to regroup, but it was evident that the tide had turned against her. "This isn't about who you are or what you own," she spat, her voice faltering. "This is about respect." "Respect is a two-way street, Karen," Marcus responded, his tone firm but not cruel. "You should try living on that road for a change." He could see her struggling to maintain her dignity among the crowd, her misunderstanding of basic human equality unraveled in front of them. Some yacht owners, a few whom Karen had previously treated as inferiors, began to openly challenge her behavior. "We're not going to condone that kind of attitude here," said a fellow yacht owner, stepping forward to stand alongside Marcus. With every passing moment, the winds shifted from Karen's defense to Marcus's triumph. Seeing her condescension unravel before their eyes built a camaraderie among the yacht owners. They had seen her act hostile not only toward Marcus but toward anyone she deemed unworthy of their community. That evening marked a pivotal change in the atmosphere of the marina. "Perhaps it's time for a new policy," one of the yacht owners suggested. "No more elitism, everyone should be welcomed here." Nods of agreement swept through the crowd, resonating with the collective desire to foster inclusivity. Karen's posture crumpled, her face betraying confusion and rage, as her community slowly but decisively ostracized her for her behavior. As she retreated, Marcus stood tall, empowered by his own integrity. He realized that he had not only defended his position but had influenced the tide of change among the residents. As night fell and the stars began to twinkle in the vast canvas above, Marcus raised his glass in a toast to new beginnings. To his surprise, one by one, others joined him, lifting their glasses high in solidarity. The experience transformed the moment. It became less about him and more about the collective movement toward equality. They toasted not only to a night on the yacht but to the recognition that wealth could not segregate humanity's worth. In the months following the confrontation at the marina, Marcus Carter continued to harness the momentum garnered from the event. He evolved from a successful businessman into a community leader and champion of inclusivity in the affluent neighborhood where he docked his yacht. His experience with Karen ignited a passion within him to advocate for social justice and dismantle the preconceived notions that often divided communities. Inspired by his own story, an account of perseverance against adversity, Marcus began collaborating with local nonprofits focused on providing resources to underserved youth interested in technology and entrepreneurship. He initiated mentorship programs that linked young people with professionals from diverse backgrounds to foster a sense of belonging and opportunity. His reputation grew not only as a business mogul but as a pivotal figure dedicated to social change. Moreover, Marcus's yacht, once a sanctuary for solitary reflection, became a venue for community meetings, workshops, and events aimed at bridging cultural divide. It served as a literal and metaphorical space for dialogue and understanding. This new role enriched his life, allowing him to connect on a deeper level with others, instilling hope in the next generation, and fostering inclusivity in a place marked by privilege. On the flip side, the fallout from her confrontation with Marcus marked a significant turning point in Karen Thompson's life. Initially, she fled the marina in shame, but that experience haunted her. Amidst social media backlash and outrage from her peers, Karen was forced to confront her deeply rooted biases and understand the impact of her behavior. For the first time, she found herself in a position where she could not escape the consequences of her actions. Rather than succumbing to despair, Karen recognized an opportunity for growth. She began attending workshops on diversity and inclusion, seeking education that was previously foreign to her. This new path was fraught with discomfort, but each session contributed to a gradual transformation. She reached out for forgiveness not only from Marcus but also to those in her community who she had offended or marginalized. Karen's journey towards redemption became her new mission. She joined nonprofit organizations focusing on racial equality and pledged her resources to create scholarships for students from various backgrounds. Slowly, she endeared herself to those she once alienated, advocating for inclusivity while reflecting on her past mistakes. Karen had not only learned from her missteps but actively sought to create a more welcoming environment for everyone, making her a complex character, someone fighting against the very prejudiced thoughts that once defined her. A new character emerged through this narrative, a friend of Marcus and aspiring filmmaker named Jake Ramirez. A Latino storyteller with a knack for capturing the essence of social issues, Jake knew that Marcus's story, along with the transformation of Karen, was one worth telling. He aimed to document their experiences, not as a storyline of villain and hero but as a nuanced exploration of human growth and understanding. Jake's goal was to create an engaging documentary showcasing the power of personal evolution, community empowerment, and the unlikelihood of convicts finding redemption. By featuring interviews, personal reflections, and documenting community events led by Marcus and Karen, Jake hoped to amplify the message that positive change was possible despite flawed beginnings. His passion for storytelling resonated with people, capturing attention and inspiring conversations about race, privilege, and responsibility. Finally, Marcus's mentorship program incubated a new generation of leaders, including an ambitious young woman named Sophia Green. A tech-savvy teenager from a modest background, Sophia had a dream of developing an app that would connect local businesses with underrepresented communities. Inspired by Marcus's journey, she sought guidance to turn her vision into a reality. With her fierce determination and the backing of the mentorship program, Sophia not only started her project but also became a spokesperson for change among her peers. Her story of overcoming obstacles mirrored Marcus's, creating a ripple effect that motivated other young individuals to pursue their own aspirations against the odds. Together, these characters represented a tapestry of resilience and growth, illustrating how confronting biases could lead to personal evolution and collective advancement. As their narratives intertwined, the community began to heal, reflect, and redefine what it meant to coexist in an increasingly diverse world.